Parshas Vayigash contains within it perhaps one of the most powerful and dramatic moments in the entire Torah. Yosef is finally about to end the drama that began when he went to check on his brothers and ended with him being the viceroy in Egypt and his brothers coming to bow down to him and to ask him for food. The moment has arrived where Yosef can no longer take it anymore. He is ready to reveal his true identity to his brothers, and Yosef says, Hotziu kol ish me'alai. Everyone out of the room. I don't want any Mitzrim, any Egyptians present when I speak to my brothers. And Rashi explains that the reason for this was very clear. Yosef did not want to embarrass his brothers in front of the Egyptians. He knew they were going to be embarrassed in front of him, and there was no way that he could avoid it. But he didn't want their embarrassment to be any worse. And having other people, strangers, Egyptians there, would make them even more embarrassed. So Yosef says, everybody out of the room. I only want myself with my brothers present. And then Yosef says to them, Ani Yosef, the two most powerful words in the entire Torah. The brothers are seeing all these different things happen to them over the course of time. They go down to Mitzrayim, they go down to Egypt, and here this man is interested in their family, and they say, bring the other brother down, and they bring the other brother down, and then the man puts money, or the first man puts money, then they bring the money back, and then the man puts his cup. Why is he so interested? Why does he care about our father? Why does he care about our other brother? What's happening? The words Ani Yosef, 2 words, I am Yosef, all of the brothers' questions are answered. They realize that everything they've been going through, all of the various problems that they have been encountering with this man, with this viceroy in Egypt, all makes sense. At that moment, the brothers are speechless. They don't know how to respond to Yosef. They can't say a word. Nivhalu mipanav, they're in shock. And Rashi explains that they started moving back. Their backs were up against the wall. They started moving toward the back of the room because they were frightened. They were scared of him. And Yosef says to them, don't be scared and don't be sad. Come closer. Come closer to me. And Rashi explains that Yosef started speaking to them in a very soft voice. Soft voice meaning that he was approachable. He wanted them to come closer. First he was speaking harsh to them. All of a sudden he started speaking softly. And as he was speaking softly, the brothers come closer. And when they come close, he says to them, Ani Yosef achichem, I am Yosef, your brother, asher mechartem osi Mitzrayma, that you sold down to Egypt. Seems strange. A moment ago we just said that Yosef was concerned about his brother's embarrassment, didn't want any Mitzrim, any Egyptians in the room because he didn't want his brothers to be embarrassed. But yet now he's telling them that they sold him to Egypt. Of course they knew that they sold him to Egypt. Why does he have to state this detail? Why does he have to state this fact? So perhaps the answer is the following. You know, when we have a disagreement with someone, or we're hurt or insulted by someone, or whether we hurt someone, you know, there's always that moment that either ourselves or a third party tries to make shalom, tries to make peace. And there are 2 approaches. The first approach is just forget about what happened and let's just move on. The second approach is let's talk about what happened, so that as we rebuild or reconnect in our relationship, we can learn from what happened so it won't happen again. If you take option number 1, which is don't talk about it, just move on and try to recreate the relationship, what ends up happening is that on the surface, there's a new relationship. But under the surface, beneath the surface, there's a lot of animosity, which tends to boil over at a certain moment, and in the end, would probably end up engulfing the relationship altogether. So Yosef is saying to the brothers, look, I want to recreate. I want to start again. I want to have a new relationship with you. And he told them, I want to love you. I want to have achva with you. But first, I have to tell you that we have to look each other in the eyes. And we have to recognize what it is that we did. You sold me as a slave. It ended up working out in the end. But you sold me as a slave. Accept responsibility for your actions, and then we can have a relationship. There are moments in life where we try to absolve ourselves of the pain that we've caused others, and we lack the ability to accept responsibility when all that's needed is that we just need to accept responsibility for our failings, for our mistakes, and we need from others to do the same. And if we do so, then we are able to reestablish and reconnect within the relationship that we have with other people. That's the message that Yosef was trying to teach us. May we be zoche, may we merit that in the relationships that we've had a difficult time, we're able to reconnect, and that all begins with telling the truth, being honest, accepting responsibility, and being able to be compassionate toward a person that we hurt, thereby allowing them to forgive us and for us to recreate a new chapter in the dynamic of our relationship. Thank you for listening, and have a good Shabbos.